time of the day when we tell you about everything that's buzzing in the startup space. I'm Priya Sheth, and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to the Daily Dispatch. On today's show, I'm going to talk about the top 3 companies that have been in news today, and these include Blackstone, Global Bees, as well as Hello App. Now, the first headline of the day is in the edtech space, which is a hot space, and there's yet another deal in the rapidly growing segment. Private equity major Blackstone has acquired a controlling stake in the edtech startup SimplyLearn for $250 million. Now, SimplyLearn provides online training across technologies as well as applications in the data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, as well as the cloud computing space. Now, this deal is interesting. Why? Because it comes at a time when Blackstone really sold its portfolio company, which is Akash Educational Services, to Byju's earlier this year. Well, the Russia-style investment platform backed by First Cry, which is Global Bees, has raised about $150 million, which is a mix of debt as well as equity, in its Series A funding round. Now, Global Bees is looking to partner with digitally native brands across categories such as beauty, personal care, home, kitchen, food, nutrition, sports, and lifestyle, which have a revenue run rate of about $1 million to $20 million. Well, moving to headline number 3, former Chief Business Officer of WhatsApp, Neeraj Arora, has launched a new private social network called the Hello App. The app is said to be ad-free, bot-free, and end-to-end encrypted. Now, starting Monday, anyone can download and sign up for this Hello App, both on iOS as well as Android platforms. Now, Hello App calls itself the first real relationship network, and that's something that we will continue to track to see how this app goes live and what kind of traction it really gets. Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who's just raised $45 million, and he's got some of the biggest names on board. I have with me Pulkit Agrawal from Trell. Thank you very much, Pulkit, for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. $45 million is a big amount, and you've raised this amount from really big heavyweight investors like an H&M, etc. So what does this fundraise really mean for you at Trell?
Sure. First of all, thanks for reminding me over here, Priya. I think the fundraise is a great milestone about the belief that the ecosystem and the investors have on what we are building at Trell, right? Which is about how we empowering influencers and creators to create a social commerce ecosystem, right? And establish millions of micro entrepreneurs who are creating content today in the ecosystem. So a great feat, I think a massive opportunity out there, immense faith from the investors, and a lot of value building, right, to follow from here on.
Right. When you talk about investors like H&M, etc., they're big apparel giants out there. Does this really change the kind of thought process or the philosophy at Trell in terms of what the action plan will be going forward?
Actually, I think that is a reverse of it. Like, we had a certain philosophy with which, some of the investors like H&M resonated very well. So if you talk about Trell, we are building a lifestyle social commerce platform where people could come and discover and buy lifestyle trends, right? Related to categories like beauty, recipes, gadgets, fashion, etc., etc. So given that we want to become a large horizontal lifestyle player in terms of commerce and content, H&M is something which has a very good belief about the fact that this is something which will help commerce to kind of penetrate deeper into the ecosystem of India, and also, has the potential to kind of grow globally from here on. So definitely, I think the roadmap remains, kind of similar, right? Just that faith from some of these investors adds up to the fuel, right? And the pace of execution for us.
Right, that's interesting. In terms of your roadmap for 2021, I want to understand, 45 million users so far. What's the kind of potential headroom for growth, and what will the funding really be utilized towards?
Absolutely. So I'll start, to talk about the opportunity a bit, right? So if you see, social media has played a very instrumental role in influencing, right, consumers' taste, opinions, and behavior, right? A lot of users essentially go on the internet, discover content, take the inspiration, get aware about what things they want to buy. And influencers play a very important role in enabling trust, right, as well as awareness to these consumers. This is where, if you see in the last 3 years, right, today we have more than 450 million social media internet users in India, and most of them are coming across on the internet in regional languages. As you see, every 9 out of 10 users who is coming on the internet is in regional languages, and most of this audience is unable to find relevant content and inspiration in their language to be able to commerce, right, or buy things online. This is where the whole ecosystem of Trell comes into the picture, wherein we have content creators, the consumers, as well as brands interacting with each other in the ecosystem to empower, right, millions of people with the right content information to be able to make the right decisions of what they want to purchase. So that is a kind of change that we are bringing in into the ecosystem. And when it comes to the market opportunity, it's a large market opportunity, right? Social commerce is touted to be a 50-60 billion dollar kind of market in the next 7 to 8 years, and Trell is at a forefront of it, right? And we would like to kind of continue building the value there. So that's a kind of a opportunity that we see essentially in the market. Now talking about where we would want to kind of invest some of the capital going ahead, four different areas and very refined areas. One area is investing into the developing AI/ML technologies within the organization, deepened up into regional languages, where we could connect the consumers with the right content, with the right influencers, and also help brands in kind of reaching out to the right consumers overall, right? So building this ecosystem through the technology. Second, if you see what Trell is doing in the ecosystem, right, is pretty new, right? Nobody has kind of done this overseas where you could adopt, or let's say kind of get a lot of inspiration immediately from, right? So hence, that requires a lot of innovation, that requires a lot of first principles and fundamental thinking, for which you need stellar team. And this is where we are going to invest into building a very stellar team on board who would love to innovate and build this. Third is going to be the area of community building, right? If you see in India, although we have a lot of creators, right, online today, most of them create content in English and Hindi as languages, right? If you think about the regional languages, there are very, minuscule number of content creators who share meaningful content related to all of these lifestyle interests that we talk about. So we'll invest heavily into kind of building, this creator ecosystem, enabling them to be able to establish on various platforms and, earn a living from it over a period of time. So that is a third area we'll invest to. And lastly, today we are kind of doing social commerce in beauty and personal care as a category. We'll expand up and open up new categories of commerce like apparel, home care, baby care, mom care, etc., right, onto the platform, just to give the entire selection, right, by partnering with the right brands going ahead. So these are the four, areas where we'll be deepening up, and hopefully should, kind of build a great ecosystem with that.
Right, you spoke about social commerce, and I want to talk to you about celebrity-backed social commerce. We've seen a lot of brands on your platform, out there as well. So, what is the kind of growth that segment has seen, and will you be looking at the other segments that you spoke about, like home, etc.? Will these also be celebrity-backed, or will you be looking at other private labels or brands out there, offering some sort of like a Myntra or an Amazon?
Sure. So I think it will be a combination of both going ahead. We definitely see a lot of affinity of people to buy from their favorite influencers or celebrities online today, right? And we have seen multiple D2C brand story playing out very well in that direction. We've already started to get requests from some of the celebrities to launch brand for them in conjunction with some of the great, suppliers, manufacturers, or D2C brand we already know of. So our aim will be to kind of make them with the right partners so that they can grow through the platform like ours, right? And give them the distribution they're looking for. So definitely that is going to be one big trend. Amongst that, another trend is going to be about how people in regional languages would look up to some of the regional influencers and celebrities to launch these brands, right? So today, internet is predominantly, spread out with, let's say, some of the Hindi, Bollywood, or English influencers to go with. We see the future very differently. Regional influencers and celebrities would start to take over those pockets. And I think, now even in the ecosystem, some of the internet first brands like D2C brands are taking a note of it and building more localized solutions, right, to be able to cater the needs of that audience. So, the way, we see it, we'll be enablers, right, for all of these to be able to experiment fast and be able to grow fast in the ecosystem.
A final question before I let you go, Pulkit, on the revenue bit. I want to understand, are there any changes to your revenue targets that you have for FY22? And what kind of growth ambitions do you have at this point in time?
Sure. So Priya, we have been very aggressive in terms of growth and revenue targets. If you see, We just launched, social commerce 8 months back. It has picked up very, very well on the platform. Our aim is to kind of cross $1 billion GMV in the next 18 to 24 months. And that is a kind of an ambition with which we are growing. We are already seeing almost 30% month on month growth, on the platform, right? Which is a great sign towards that trajectory. Apart from that, we would focus heavily on growing our community. In the last 18 months, we have grown almost 30x of what we were earlier, right? In the next 18 months, we hope to kind of be at, more than 150 million to 200 million monthly active users on the platform. So very high ambitions of growth, and hopefully, right, with the right backers, we should be, on the way to achieve them.
All right, Pulkit, we wish you all the very best, and we hope that you achieve the kind of targets that you have envisioned. Thank you very much for being a part of the Daily Dispatch and for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much, Priya, for having me here. Great talking to you all.
Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and have a lovely day.